Titration of a weak acid against a strong base. That means acid is weak whereas the base is strong. That is the condition. First is the pH curve. In that pH curve, it is indicates that pH curve clearly indicates there is a sharp change between 6 to 11. This is the first point. Therefore, the indicators, pH indicators which show a change in this range only can be used. Point number 1. pH curve changes sharply from 6 to 11 and the curve become almost vertical at that point. After that, beyond that, pH changes slowly and becomes flat. 2. Indicators which can be used for this type of titration are 1. Phenolphthalein, 2. Thymolphthalein, 3. Commonly used is phenolphthalein. Fourth point, indicators which cannot be used for this type of titration. 1. Methyl orange, 2. Methyl red, 3. Bromophenol blue. Give reason question can be asked for strong weak acid and strong base. Weak acid and strong base, why methyl orange or methyl red or bromophenol blue indicators cannot be used for the titration? Because they will change the color, their color much before the endpoint. That means instead of before reaching the endpoint, their color changes. Therefore, the value that we get from the burette will be wrong. Therefore, you may not get the correct answer for the titration or the standard value of the acid. Next is titration of a strong acid against a weak base. Here the acid is strong and the base is weak. In this case, pH value. That means refer the pH curve. It indicates that the pH is showing between 3 and 8. First point. pH curve shows near the end point of titration. pH changes sharply from 3 to 8 and the titration curve becomes almost vertical. Beyond this, pH curve rises slowly and flat. 2. Indicators which can be used for this type of titration. 1. Methyl orange. 2. Methyl red. Third point. Indicators which cannot be used for this type of titration. Phenolphthalein. It will continue to change the color even beyond the endpoint. That means we cannot find out the endpoint. After the endpoint also the color remains the same. Therefore, the value that you collect from the burette, may not be correct. Last one, titration of a weak acid against a weak base. In this type of titration, pH curve does not show any sharp change. Refer the pH curve. In this, there is no sharp change. Therefore, in this case, the endpoint is not sharp. We cannot get any vertical line. That means the endpoint we cannot detect. Such titrations cannot be carried out accurately using these indicators. Therefore, weak acid and weak base, no question of conducting a titration using an indicator and finding out the standard value. It is not possible and it should be avoided by calculation of by means of this titration. And number of assignments based on the portion that we discussed is given. 3 assignments which can, unless you have a thorough idea about the relationship of pH, pOH, pKW, you may not be able to this. Therefore, get thorough with the portion and then try to do these 3 assignments. After doing it, see the textbook for and refer the answer whether you what the answer that you got is correct.